Hey everybody, welcome to the Evening Reader. I'm Priscilla. How are you out there? It's Monday afternoon here, and it's, as you can see by the reflection, it's bright and sunny. Kind of trying to turn to like at a different angle so that I'm not just, have all the reflection right off my glasses. I'm here to do a tag video today. I'm doing the mid-year freakout tag. I think everybody on Booktube has already done this tag. I'm probably one of the last people, trying to get this one in before the end of June. I kind of pushed it out because I was like, well, I don't want to do it till the end of June. Like I'm the kind of person who I do not make my favorite books of the year list until the last day of the year. So I know some people are like doing it in November. I'm like, how can you do that? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was tagged by Randy Ray at Literate Texan to do the tag, so I'm gonna do it. I'm game. I'm ready to go. So we'll just jump right in because there are 15 questions and I don't want this video to last forever. We all know I can talk. Okay. The best book you've read so far. The best book I've read so far is, I'm actually still reading it. I have not finished it, but I've read it before, so I'm confident in saying this, is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry, which I've been reading for June on the Range with Randy. We've been sort of trying to do this as a buddy read, but I think we're both having, we're both just having a month for different reasons, and especially poor Randy. I mean, he's like, he is a trooper, trying to even out his medications and things and take good care of himself. And, and he's also doing book track, and he's reading other books for June on the Range. And so, and he's got his Emily Henry fix going also. So, but Larry McMurtry, so I'm not going to talk about this book because I'm thinking we're going to try to do a video sometime in the near future. But definitely Larry McMurtry is one of these authors who I just love. I think he's a terrific storyteller. I think I'm going to do an accidental authors video about Larry McMurtry because he's one of my favorite authors. I haven't read everything that he's written, but I have read a lot of his books. And I haven't read anything else in the Lonesome Dove series, and I don't think I'm going to, but I do want to kind of round out maybe like the Houston series. So, but that's the best book that I've read so far this year, and it kind of picked my year up altogether because it just has been a hit and miss kind of year. The second question is best sequel you've read so far, and we can just skip that question because I haven't read any sequels. I read a first book in a trilogy. I read Mad Ships by Robin Hobb, which is the first book of the Live Ship Traders series, but I haven't picked up the second book yet, and I'm sure that is going to be the answer to that question because I don't typically read series, although I did get a new mystery series. I picked up the first two books in the mystery series. The one that is Widows of Malabar Hill is the first book, and I can't remember the name of the author or the name of the second book, but I'm looking forward to getting to that probably sometime, maybe in August. So who knows, maybe that'll be a contender for best sequel. But we'll be talking about that later in the year. Okay. A new release that you haven't read yet but want to. Oh, hang on. I've got it right here. The new Lori Moore, I Am Homeless If This Is Not My Home. I just got this. It just came out last Tuesday, and I just got my copy this weekend. I had pre-ordered it. I'm a Lori Moore fan. She's probably, I really like her short fiction better than her better than her last novel. I didn't really love her last novel. I actually didn't really love her last short story collection either. But so this is going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how I feel about this, but she has written some of my favorite short story collections. Birds of America and Like Life are both super, just excellent collections. And then I do love her novella, Who Will Run the Frog Hospital, is a very good book. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm gonna probably pick this up and read it in July. So, okay. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Probably Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. I do really like Ann Patchett sometimes also. She's one of those authors who's also hit or miss for me. The first book that I ever read by her was Bel Canto. And then I read her Patron Saint of Liars, which was her debut novel, which I really enjoyed. And then the others that I've really enjoyed by her are State of Wonder and Commonwealth. Really loved those. I did not like The Dutch House. I thought it was sloppy. But it does have a beautiful cover. And then I didn't like her novel Run. I think I have read all of her books, and she's got a couple of others that I didn't like. So it's like she's either like, she's a 1 or a 0 for me. So I'm not really sure, but that's probably the one that I'm looking most forward to in the second half, because honestly, I looked through some lists of what's coming out, and I just haven't seen anything that looks that compelling. So that's the one I got. So, okay. My biggest disappointment. Oh gosh, my biggest disappointment. I don't know that I've had a disappointment per se. Like I haven't picked anything up that I was really super excited about and it was not great. That hasn't happened yet this year, but I've had some books where it's like, well, I thought they were going to be pretty good, but they were kind of meh. I mean, Christadora, I guess, was one of those. Maybe biggest disappointment. I guess biggest disappointment could also be Elizabeth Gilbert pulling her book, The Snow Forest. I was kind of looking forward to that. I was interested in it, but that's kind of a disappointment. I guess that could be a different kind of disappointment. The book 9th Street Women that I read earlier this year, that was kind of a, I had expected I thought that was going to be a 5-star read, and it ended up being more like a 3-star read for me. And I'm trying to open my Goodreads because there's one other book, and I cannot remember. I should have just had this open. I don't know why. Why do I do anything without just my lists and notes in front of me at all times? I could not tell you. All right, let's see. Read. Let's see. No, it wasn't. Okay. No, it wasn't this year. It wasn't this year. I was thinking of a book that was kind of disappointing, but I must have read it at the end of last year. Okay, so moving on. Thank you for letting me take that break. Biggest surprise. Ooh, that's a good one. I think my biggest surprise was maybe The Uncommon Reader by Alan Bennett, which I really enjoyed. I thought that it was so good, and it was just a book I bought on a whim because of Booktube. And it just was one of those, you know what, I want to read that, and I want to read it right now. And so I bought it on Kindle, and I think it was even on sale. So it was like this, the planets aligned, the stars, everything was in harmony. And I got it and I read it in a day, and it was just, I don't know, it was one of those books that I thought was going to be kind of hokey. So it's about Queen Elizabeth II becoming, a reader, and really developing a strong reading habit and a reading life, and then beginning to also then develop a writing life and thinking differently about things. And I think I just thought it was, gimmicky when I first heard about it. And it is not. It is a really lovely, lovely book, a wonderful meditation on reading. And I think any reader would really just enjoy it and find you find yourself highlighting everything and thinking about it. It's just a wonderful little book. So I think that was probably my biggest surprise so far this year. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? Favorite new author. Looking through my list again. Oh, I know who. Laird Hunt. Laird Hunt. I read his book Zori, which came out last year, which is a wonderful little novel, slim little novel about a woman named Zori. And obviously, and sort of how she is orphaned early on, and then it just follows her through her life. And I really love those slice of life books that are just ordinary people living their lives and the things that happen to them that, you know, that are unique and make them special or make their lives special. And it's kind of an interesting book because the book description makes it sound like it's a book that could go in a very different direction than it goes in, because this is not a spoiler, like I said, this is in the book description. She works at she's born in the, like, probably the late 1920s, and she goes to work in a radium factory during World War II. And so, of course, you're thinking, oh, it's going to be something about the radium, and, you know, it's going to come back to haunt her, and, you know, or something. And it doesn't go in that direction at all. It could have been a very different book. I was glad that it turned out to be the kind of book that it was. So I haven't read any other Laird Hunt, but I do have another book of his around here. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I definitely want to check out more of his work because I really liked his writing style. He kind of reminded me of Kent Harif, who I also really love. So simple, but frequently like beautiful thoughts or lovely atmosphere, really good at setting atmosphere, wonderful character development, and simple yet really lovely prose. So, and imagery, like it's just, that doesn't feel like it's trying too hard at all. So really, really loved that and highly recommend that book. Newest fictional crush. No, I don't get fictional crushes. I don't get crushes on, no. I guess I do though. I guess I'm going to change it. I'll change this question and I will call it author crush. I get author crushes. Like I get that, by that I don't mean I like want to date those authors or have romantic feelings for them, but I just get enamored of their work, and I really like to dive in and read most of their stuff, or I like to, you know, read lots of author interviews or listen to them on podcasts and see what they say about writing and what their writing life has been like and who their favorite authors are and books they read. So I guess, but do I have a newest fictional crush? I mean, no, not fictional crush, author crush this year. I don't think I've got a new one. I mean, maybe Anita Brookner. I read A Start in Life and I enjoyed that. But then of course, Curtis Sittenfeld is a long-standing author crush that I have. I just think she's a great writer. And so I'm always interested in what is she reading, or what's going on with her, and, you know, hearing about her process or how she comes up with her ideas and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's my author crush. You can kind of see back here, like Jennifer Haig was one several years ago when her book Heat and Light came out, and I think it was 2016. That was the first book by her that I had ever read, and I just thought, oh, this is really great. And so started picking up her books, and she does something a little different in every book she writes. And I read Faith earlier this year, which is a really good book about a priest who is accused of, you know, committing sexual abuse. But it's sort of one of those did he or didn't he, and it goes through the story. His sister is trying to get to the bottom of what has happened and if the allegations are true. And it's just very well done. So yeah, Jennifer Haig, another author crush that from the past. But I did read one of her books this year, so I guess that counts. Newest favorite character. Newest favorite character. I really did. I'm looking at my list again. I really liked Maria from Imogen Benny's Nevada. I thought she was a really compelling character. I liked her voice. I liked how she was trying to work through all of these issues and all of these things that she wanted to do and what she was going to do with her life and where she fit and in what group she fit and how she got where she was. I thought that it was a very compelling voice. And then, of course, I mean, Augustus McCall from Lonesome Dove. Yeah, he's probably my favorite character in the book, and this book is so good. I love it, but boy, do I hate Jake Spoon. Okay, I'm not supposed to talk about that, so I'll stop there. Book that made you cry, or the saddest book that you have read. It didn't make me cry, but I did read a book early this year called Tell Me One Thing, and the author is Carrie Schlottman. And it was a book about, it's basically a book about a photograph. And I'm thinking the photographer, I think it's Mary Ellen Mark, has a very famous photo of a little girl who is, and her cousin, I think it is, and the little girl is, I think she's smoking a cigarette. And she's probably like 9 years old, and I think they're in like a pool. And so Schlottman got the idea to write a novel basically based on a similar situation. And in the novel, she's got the photographer's story, and then she also follows the little girl story whose picture she takes. And this picture is actually kind of, she becomes a famous photographer, but this photo is sort of lost to time. And we sort of find out what happened to the photo and what's the story behind the photo. And the little girl's story was very touching. It didn't make me cry, but it definitely was, it was kind of just very deep and very touching. So that's Tell Me One Thing. I'll try to remember to put the books in the description. I am so bad about that. I was like, I'll put that in the description box. It's like, wait, there's a description box? Okay. A book that made you happy. A book that made me happy. I have been reading The Shipping News by Annie Proulx. I picked it up. I wasn't planning to read it, but Kim at Middle of the Book March was doing that for her Blind Eye book club. And so I got a wild hair and said, oh, I'm going to do that too. I want to join in. And then, of course, not even thinking that their discussion wouldn't maybe be at a time where I could actually join the discussion because I'm like at least 6 hours ahead of everybody. And so I think they had their discussion last night when it was like midnight for me and I was in bed asleep. But I love Annie Proulx's writing, and I do like Coil, and that's a really lovely little book. So that made me happy. And then the other book that's made me happy this year, I guess, or so far, was this book, Unfinished Business, Notes of a Chronic Rereader by Vivian Gornick. I really enjoyed that. I love reading about other people's reading lives. And in this, she's revisiting books that she's reread throughout her life and talking about the different things they've meant to her at different periods in her life, or what, if they even still matter to her at all, or if she sees them differently, or maybe books that, well, that was pretty good, but now I pick it up again and it's very moving, So I think we all, if you are a rereader, which not everybody's a rereader, but I am, that's just always a fascinating thing to me, to hear how people react to books that they haven't that they've read many times or maybe just a few times over a long period of time. So those books made me happy. My favorite book to film adaptation I saw this year. I guess White Noise. Because I can't think of any. I was trying to think of the answer to this question, and I seem to remember that my husband and I watched something, and I was like, and I asked him, I'm like, what was it where I said the book, this based on a book, the book is really good. I cannot remember what it is. But it wasn't White Noise. But that was a pretty good I thought that was a good adaptation. I have not read the book in a long time. Probably 20 years at least since I've read White Noise. But I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty well done. So I guess that's my answer for that one. Favorite review or favorite video you have done so far this year? I don't have one. I just feel like I haven't gotten a chance to get into actually. I feel like there's lots of tags and I've talked about other things, or maybe I've done a few review videos, but I don't know that I have a favorite one yet. So I don't have an answer for that one. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I don't think I have an answer for that one. I should have gone back and looked at my covers, judging a book by its cover video. I guess it's my copy of Demon Copperhead, which is over there. It's at the bottom of the stack. It's pretty. It's a hardback. It's a cover people have seen. I can put the photo up. It's nice. It's pretty. I guess that's it. I haven't really bought anything, based on its cover this year. So. And then what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I don't know that I need to read anything necessarily. I just need to make a dent in my pile. I need to read the books on my shelf. It'll be good. That's going to be the answer to that question. Those are the books I need to read by the end of the year. I need to pump the brakes on buying books and read what I have already, because I have a lot of good stuff on my shelf. It's ridiculous. It's not even the I don't have anything to wear problem. It's I don't have anything to read problem. It's just that it's hard not to get, oh, shiny new book. Or you hear a booktuber talking about a book, new to you book anyway, and it's like, I want to do that read along, I want to do that event, I'm going to read that too. Yeah, I need to just go look at my shelf, and pick something out, because I've got plenty of fiction, plenty of nonfiction. There really are very few gaps in my library where I couldn't find at least one thing I could read. So that would fulfill a certain criteria. So yeah, those are the books that I need to read by the end of the year. All right. So that's that's the last answer. That's my freak out. So I think everybody on Booktube has done this. As I said, I think, I'm probably one of the last people. I'm not going to tag anybody. If you haven't done this, I think it's probably worth doing. It's always good to sort of assess what your reading year has been like. I'm hoping that my second half is better than the first half has been. But, oh well, I guess we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it'll be spectacular, or maybe it won't be great. Maybe just please don't let it be worse. That won't be fun. All right, so that's it for me. Let me know, maybe what it's been your favorite book so far this year in the comments. I would love to hear, or any other questions. I'll put the questions in the description box, or will I? Okay. I will see you sometime on the weekend. Take care. Bye.